What's going on, people? Luis over at Creative Street Designz, Las Vegas. Well, you're going to wonder who I am. I'm going to tell you real quick in a couple of seconds. I'm a Cuban-American, born and raised in New York City, went all the way across the country, did some work over in California, and ended up here in the 702, the 70 True, the place it's got to be. I build cars, trucks, planes, boats, automobiles, anything with an engine. If it runs, I make it. But I do it with my own two hands. I let you see what I do and let you get involved with my friends. So you know what? Why don't y'all take this ride with me and AD today, baby.
What's going on, everybody? AD with another episode of The Session. Today to my left, you see my guy KSD, Creative Street Designz, Luis
Planas.
There we go. You know, so my vernacular, my accent is not always the most accurate, so I wanted you to hit it with that sauce.
It's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's no real sauce on it, you know.
Okay.
Planas for all of you people out there. So,
Boom.
thank you.
Now you are an automotive expert, I would like to say.
I'd call myself an automotive entrepreneur. I wouldn't say an expert, but we'll get close to that.
You know a lot of stuff. Like, okay. Anyways, how long have you been in the cars for?
I've been in cars all my life.
Okay.
I mean, I'm 42 years old, been in the cars all my life.
Okay.
That's never going to change. And I started when I was a real young age, was out of necessity. Dad was making me do stuff, and then it kind of just progressed from there, and then I noticed I had a knack for it.
And it turned into a passion?
It turned into pure passion. I mean, I bleed unleaded and drink 1040s for breakfast. I mean, that's just me.
I like the analogy. And so you're in Vegas, but you've been you started in the New York, New Jersey area. You've been in Cali.
That is correct.
What was the journey that brought you to Vegas?
The journey that brought me to Vegas, I moved from New York, obviously, to California, Southern California. Everybody stand up. And it was okay to me. I did some stuff there, worked at a couple of name brand shops. I don't really need to mention who they are. But it was
West
all
Coast
good.
Customs. No, we gonna
West
mention.
Coast Customs. I worked for there for a hot minute.
You worked on the set of Pimp My Ride as well.
I was there for a hot minute.
That's a big deal. You try to slide past it, but that's a big deal. Like, I used to watch that growing up. Really, I used to watch that growing up. Like, so it is a big deal.
It's a big deal, but you know what? It was just a stepping stone on my travels of life. And then some things happened in California, and I was on my way back to New York, and just so happens from there to head back to New York in a car, you got to drive down to 15. You have to come to Vegas at 702. And a couple of friends that I had out here were like, you know what? You can't leave without staying in Vegas for a hot minute. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stay in Vegas for a little bit, hang out, and then started getting a little more involved in the car community here, truck community, and haven't left since. I've been here for 11 years now.
Wow.
And it's home.
You love it here.
I love it here. You know what? I've been to New York, I've been to LA, I've been to all over the country. To me, Vegas is the absolute consummate of all of that put together in a small package.
I like that. How would you describe or compare the car community, the truck clubs out here to California or SoCal or back in New York?
In New York, it's a little more rugged.
Okay.
You deal with a little more of the Japanese stuff, and again, they got the snow, so they always deal with stuff, and they're much cleaner with it because when it comes out hard.
Okay.
California, year-round, never rains. So a lot of the stuff isn't necessarily as polished, but it's more on the very functional way of things where everything rolls day in, day out. It's driver, it gets used. And then they have that infusion here in Vegas. So you've got the Stance Nation, which are a lot of those little Hondas with the wheels like that. And you've got, the lowered trucks that are scraping the ground, and then you've got the lifted trucks, and then you've got the off-road stuff, and you've got the tuner cars and the big muscle cars with the huge wheels on them. So you get everything here. It's a buffet of automobile nirvana. Plus, Vegas is home to SEMA.
Okay, we talked about this a little while ago.
Okay, so that is also something that you cannot say you have to avoid. Everybody once a year comes to Vegas. The entire car community stops, and they all come here. And you get millions of people from all over the world to sit down and talk and shake hands and change ideas and exchange, culture. So, I mean, I can't really be anyplace else right now.
One thing that stuck out that you just said was that you have all types of people from car communities. You said, you'll see the different the Toyotas or what, I don't know what do you describe the wheels.
Well, you got the whole Stance Nation and stuff like that. You got the cars with a whole bunch of camber.
Then you have the trucks that are low to the ground. When you describe that, it made me think that's actually how Vegas is with the ethnicities. It's very diverse culturally out here.
Correct.
So that all makes sense. As far as being into trucks, I think that's what and forgive me if I'm off, but what makes you stay in the lane of trucks, pickup trucks, big trucks, versus cars and other stuff? Not that you can't work on those, but you love trucks.
Well, I've actually owned all of the ones I mentioned.
Wow, okay.
So I've had Hondas that were really low to the ground, all cambered out with JDM motors. I've owned muscle cars. I've owned trucks now. I've owned lifted stuff. I've owned everything. But the reason why I stick with trucks is because I'm old school.
Okay.
I like muscle cars. I like big V8 engines. I like, smoking tires and a whole bunch of torque and, just doing a lot of things that you do with an American V8 car. No offense to everybody else. But that's just me. Now, they don't really make a lot of those cars today. You either buy a Mustang, a Camaro, or a Challenger. And no offense to the Dodge people. I feel sorry for you.
How are the transmissions are bad? Is that true?
Transmissions, some of the engine stuff, and the company that owns them.
Oh, wow. That hurts.
Dig the fiat. Dig the fiat.
Jeez.
But anyway, getting on that whole point, trucks is where you got to go. Plus, I currently drive an SUV, a Suburban.
Okay.
So I have something that has a V8 engine, it's souped up, that does 12-second quarter miles, and I can take 7 people with me.
Okay.
So if you know anything about the whole music thing, which I think my man AD does, Master Ace used to have a whole bunch of videos, and he'd be driving around in a Suburban with some big wheels and a big ass sound system in the back. And that, when I grew up, saw that, and I said, you know what? That's me, taking my whole posse with me, my friends, my family. And I have a whole bunch of kids. I have, 6 kids, 5 daughters and 1 son.
You got a starting lineup in it.
And I put them in the car.
Ah, okay.
And we just go places.
That's real.
And then they can get out and watch daddy, drag race, and then get back in, and we can go home.
Okay. So it allows you to carry everybody with you. You like having a big body around you as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wow. So that's the truck thing.
That's the whole truck thing. For me.
Now you recently had a baby boy. Congratulations.
Yes.
And this is your first son.
Son.
What is there a legacy that you want him to carry on? Do you want him to get involved in automotives as well, or no?
As truthful as this is going to sound, I don't want any of my kids to follow in any footstep that I have ever laid down.
You want them to create their own path.
I actually want them to make their footstep my last one on earth, and then leapfrog off of that and go forward.
Wow.
Because for me, my mantra, my father and his father before him taught me and taught him, you want your kids to be better than you ever were when they start. So I want my kids to be better than my best was ever when they start on their journey in life.
Wow.
So if they do take up the automotive thing, great. I'll give them everything that I know. But if they don't, hey, you know what? That's what the internet's for. And that's why I put what I put out on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube and stuff like that. I let them see it.
Document.
So people can see it, and people like yourself 10, 15 years from now can go back and say, you know what, that's an inspiration, and we go off of that.
My homie KSD, I want to go back and see that. And people are going to find you, they don't even know who you are right now, and they're going to look and they're, oh, this is dope. Oh, I didn't know that. They can learn.
Exactly.
I like that. Now, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Where I see myself in 5 years right now, from where I'm sitting, is actually in-house building race engines.
Wow.
In-house building race transmissions and race vehicles that are daily driven, that you can take from the track and drive it on the street and do whatever it needs to do. Pickup trucks doing 10-second quarter miles, SUVs doing 11-second quarter miles. You laugh, you've ridden in one of my builds.
I'm almost pissed my pants, by the way.
Yeah, Johnny Blaze, aka him. That's the name of my vehicles. And if you guys don't follow me, which some of you may or may not, one of the things I do is I always name them after something. And this truck's name is Johnny Blaze.
By the way, where can they follow you? By the way?
They can follow me over on Instagram under Kreative Street Designz with a K, ends with a Z. You can follow me on YouTube, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all the same name. On Twitter, CRTLV.
Why is that? Why can't we get the Kreative Street Designz on there too?
I can get it on there too.
I the other day.
I can get it on there too. The thing was that Twitter was my very first foray into social media.
Okay.
And that was one of my pseudonyms that I had back in the day.
Which means what?
But CRTLV means Cuban Racing and Technologies Las Vegas.
See, when I first saw you pop up on Twitter, my brain worked so fast it just went control. And I don't even think is there an N in it? I don't even know if there's an N in there.
That was a little bit of a subliminal dig into that, because everybody sits there and says, "Oh, you're always in control of everything." And I was like, you know what? I'm not.
I like that. Sorry, no.
It's all good, because I want people to go there on Twitter and then hit Control Alt Delete.
Okay, all right.
Make everything go away.
I'm with it. Now you work for yourself right
yes,
now.
Sir.
Do you enjoy that more so than working for somebody else? Would you rather be with a corporation?
To be honest, me working by myself is out of necessity, because if I work for people, and I have worked for people in the past, working for someone means you're indebted to that person and you get back a monetary return. For me, I do what I do, and it comes from the heart, comes right from here. And every day that I work isn't a day that I've worked, because it's a day that I live. I wake up and I enjoy what I do. However hard or however easy it is, I live it, I bleed it, I breathe it. When you start working with someone, you can share that. But when you start working for someone in return of a monetary, basically a monetary trade. Hey, I'm going to pay you to do this.
Right.
Then it becomes a job.
That's-
And then when it becomes a job, you start not liking it. When you start not liking it, this stops working. When this stops working, these don't do what they need to.
We talk about this. We talk about this in so many words or less every time we talk. Actually, now,
Yeah, we do.
Now that you put it in so many words or less.
Yeah, we do.
Favorite car of all time.
Favorite car of all time. Me personally, favorite car of all time has to be, and it's going to be very close. A lot of people are going to know this one though. It's a 1985 Porsche 928 S4 gray market 5-speed.
Wow. And I couldn't tell you what that looks like. I know the Porsche looks like, but I don't know what all the specifics are.
One of the first James Bond cars that were used by Roger Moore in the 70s. The one that turned into a submarine.
Okay.
That was actually a Lotus, but he went to a Porsche 928 on some episodes.
Now you're also a candy man. You love
Yes.
your candy. Favorite candy of all time.
I said it before. My favorite candy, Charleston Chew is a close second. Close second, but Laffy Taffy.
Laffy Taffy's number one.
You-
And that's crazy to me. Laffy, like, no one really says Laffy Taffy for their favorite candy. But I respect it coming from you because you are a candy connoisseur. If it was just a regular person, I probably wouldn't respect it
You
as
know,
much.
growing up and going to the bodegas back in New York and New Jersey, you guys from out there are gonna know this. You could walk in there, buy like 50 of them for a cent a piece back in the day. Throw those suckers in the freezer, take them, break them down, drink some water with them. You got some ghetto Kool-Aid. You straight to go.
Now that's real. That's your high five on that one. I respect that. Now the other day was National Hard Candy Day.
Yes.
Favorite hard candy.
Favorite hard candy is gonna have to be Jolly Rancher.
Okay, that's the right one as well.
Got it.
But are Skittles and M&Ms hard candy as well or no?
I would say that Skittles and M&Ms are not.
Okay.
Because to me, a hard candy is the kind of thing where you gotta like sit there and think about what the heck you're doing. Am I gonna risk my molar on this one?
That's real.
I mean, you gotta have a dirty Harry moment with that thing. You know how you're feeling lucky punk,
Right.
and you go for it, and then the next thing you know, you're going,
My tooth.
my tooth. Ay pendejo, te estás comiendo la comida y no pensando en pa' acá. You know, and you get that stuff. You know,
What did that mean? What was
you
that?
don't want to know.
All right, see, I don't.
You
I was a little
You
nervous.
don't want to know.
Good Lord.
You don't want to know. I'm just ducking right now because I'm fearful that a sandal is going to come flying through one of these windows and hit me.
KSD's eldest daughter is in the room, by the way. You know.
Yeah. Shout out to my daughter, my firstborn and my bestborn, and I got to give her the biggest shout out in the world because everything I do in my life is for that person right there.
No. By the way, spitting image. You guys, you couldn't deny your father. You couldn't deny your daughter if you guys wanted to. I'm sorry.
She's better looking.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not going to argue that.
She's better looking. I know. Hey, listen. You know what? The only good looking part of me is this. Because that's what you see when I leave.
Something wrong with you, man. And tell the people where they can follow you one more time.
Basically, all y'all can follow me over on Instagram, Creative Street Designs. Starts with a K, ends with a Z. Same thing on Facebook. Same thing also on YouTube. Same name there. We're going to be doing a couple little things. Hopefully my man AD will come in and hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
You also can follow me on Twitter, CRTLV. I'm always shouting out my man AD and everybody else that supports me. And please, folks, if you're out there and you're watching this right now, make sure you follow my man here. You know, Fresh Dope Podcast, you know. Make sure you stay on top of that. I mean, he's always here on nights on 98.5 KLUC. Make sure you follow this man.
My God.
Okay?
That's
Make
love.
sure, because you know what? We need more people like him. We need them.
Vice
We need
versa.
these people.
Vice
All
versa.
right?
Boom. It's a session.